Waiting for my video to come live here on my iPad. I'm not sure if you can hear this or not, but that's what we're waiting for. Thank you, Narco and Timmy Trumpet, for killing it. Wasn't expecting it to be this long of an intro, but we'll deal with it. Hey, we made it. That video took forever to get going. Here we are. Hi, I'm Jason Salzman. This is another episode of the Salzy Show. It's been a little bit. Haven't really done much of anything with the Salzy Show since we got back from Aberdeen with the Sioux Valley softball girls, but we're back. It's a 4th of July edition. I've got George Washington on my chest. Special shout out to England right there. Hope you enjoy that. Timmy Trumpet was our lead-in music. But I just wanted to get through some information today. It's been a while, so we have a few stories that we're going to get into. I won't get into 2 or 3 weeks ago, but some stories of the day. The T-Wolves WNBA Commissioner's Cup. That's the Minnesota Lynx tonight. Also, what the Twins have been doing, which is failing more or less. And just some other stories that I can think of and what I can find on my phone, what I've saved on my phone. And just try to get through theirs. If there's some sort of echo, it's because I'm underneath the gazebo outside of the Edgebrook Golf Course clubhouse. I just felt like, something different for a backdrop today. So we give you a golf course. Edgebrook was, I didn't really tell them I was coming out here. Just kind of set up and did it. There's a couple of buddies sitting in some chairs out here when I walked up, and they went out for another 9, and here I am, all by myself underneath the gazebo. The first thing we get to do today, other than just yap, is thank Bankstar Financial. Now let me get my sheet out here because I don't want to screw this up. Bankstar Financial is the proud sponsor of everything we do here on Salz Media, including these episodes like this. So our exclusive presenter, Bankstar Financial, with locations in Volga, Brookings, and Elkton. Bankstar provides big-time business with a small-town feel. Looking to finance a home? Need a car loan? How's your retirement plan looking? Stop in today to chat with the local professionals. Bank on the bright side. Bankstar Financial, a proud sponsor of Sioux Valley Athletics, the Brookings Cubs through this summertime. We'll have some news on that and all of these Salz Media broadcasts. So thank you, Bankstar Financial, for being a huge helper to all of these shows. We've got other sponsors we'll get through. I'm basically doing the Brookings Cubs list of sponsors, but we can thank some other ones as well. It's absolutely amazing of the feedback and the amount of support that I keep getting from all of the businesses I keep talking to. 2 more joined on this week for the Brookings Cubs to finish off the summer there. And once we get about 2 weeks away from right now, that's when I'll start to hit the Sioux Valley businesses, as we are going to have to start transitioning into Cossack Athletics once again. Football starts near the end of August, maybe like the 22nd, if I saw that schedule right, somewhere in there. Plus volleyball will be firing up pretty quick after that. And then once we get through football and volleyball, then we get right into basketball, both boys and girls that way, and then softball in the springtime. So we've got plenty of things to do. I'm kind of taking over the gazebo, sorry fellas. golfers. They know. Another sponsor we're going to thank right now, Bell Brands. That's my employer, and they're proud sponsors of everything we're doing with Sioux Valley, with the Brookings Cubs, and now these Salz Media broadcasts like this, the Salzy Show episodes. We'll get through more of those. The first sports story that I'm going to talk about is breaking news at Wimbledon, which is just getting going. I think Monday fired up, maybe yesterday. Coco Gauff, the number 2 seed on the women's side, just got beat in the first round. So the 2 seed is out. Coco Gauff, American hopeful to win Wimbledon on a regular basis now, loses in 2 sets today to an unseeded, unranked player in the first round. So Coco Gauff done in the first round. She becomes the 3rd woman in the Open era to lose in the first round at Wimbledon after winning the championship at the French Open. Kind of historic today, Coco Gauff. That's the breaking news as I opened up ESPN just now. Some other stories that we want to get into, if it'll let me get into those. The T-Wolves have had a good couple of weeks, fresh off of a draft on Thursday and Friday. Took a couple of big young centers, a couple of 7-footers, so we'll see how that throws into the mix. Then it might also change what happens with Rudy Gobert on their squad, whether they want to keep him on and keep that salary on at the same time. Maybe this year, but possibly into the next season of what they want to do with that salary, what they want to have happen with it. But the T-Wolves making a splash with a couple of big centers. They still need a point guard, so I'm going to assume that they're looking in free agency to try to get a point guard in there. I don't know if Conley is still the option at point guard, but you need someone to go tandem with Anthony Edwards out there. So we'll see what they can figure out with that and see what they can do. Let me open up my Twitter's feeds. The Twins... They were off yesterday. They will begin the month of July. Welcome to July, by the way. They're going to go to the Florida Marlins for 3 games. Marlins are terrible. The Twins are just under 500. They had a terrible month of June. I think their team ERA, as far as that pitching staff goes, was the worst June that any Twins team has ever had. As far as a team pitching ERA, god awful. They're anywhere from hopeful that we can stay at 500 to yeesh. You got to be kidding me with this. Byron Buxton is going to be their lone all-star. I don't know if he should start. There are plenty of people on Twitter, the Twins homers, that say he should be starting with the wins against replacement numbers that he's putting up, but it's very possible that Buxton's going to be a 30-30 man this year. Twins have never had that. They've had some guys that have gotten close, but never a 30-30 man in a Twins uniform, so that would be big. Byron Buxton also part of trade rumors, but it'd be tough to trade him because he has a no-trade clause, and that salary, that contract that he has, very Twins-friendly. With Buxton having injury issues, they came together, Buxton's side of things, the Twins' side of things, and came up with a very Twins-friendly deal that also made him a lot of money. And he knew that he had the injury problems at the same time. But Buxton right now, healthy and playing basically every day. This is the Buxton that we were hoping was going to be here for the last, 7-8 years. And it just hasn't been the case, which is why the deal that he got, which was so Twins-friendly, also gave him the money that he was deserving because they knew that he could play like this. Being a 30-30 man is something that we're hoping he was going to do on a regular basis. That's just not been the case at all. The rest of the Twins, the bats are silent from day to day. Bailey Ober is hurt. He has some sort of hip injury, and he is absolutely getting destroyed every time he goes out on that mound. Joe Ryan's been steady, but they still have a lineup that's not hitting on a regular basis. What was it, 2 weekends ago? They scored 6 runs in 3 games and got swept by... Oh, God, whoever that was. It could have been the Red Sox, I don't even know. Like 2 weeks ago, they just had a god-awful weekend, and it showed the ineptitude of that lineup to not be able to get hits. If you can't get hits, then you can't get guys on base, and if you don't have guys on base, you're not going to score runs, and that's been the Twins lineup for a long time now. Some of the trade bait guys out there, Joe Ryan is up for trade bait. Those other young kids that are looking at going into free agency, maybe have 1 year left on their deals, those guys are going to be on a block of some sort. The big story that's coming on to Twitter, and it's probably all just rumors because that's kind of how rumors go, especially on Twitter. But Byron Buxton, the Mets, looking into taking over his contract and possibly redoing a contract. It's up to the Twins when they get to the end of July, the trade deadline, if they're going to be buyers or sellers. No, look, they're still 12.5 games back in that division. The Tigers, still one of the best teams in baseball. I'm not sure if they have the best record in baseball anymore. I should have looked that up before I started here today. But 12.5 games back at the 1st of July. That's a big hill to climb. And even if you're trying to get to a wild card, they're still a long ways out of that for how bad they were in June. So are they going to be sellers here in the next 30 days? It's very possible. And, boy, you hate to see guys like Buxton, who is finally becoming the player that you wanted him to be, to get jetted out the door. But that might be the case because the Twins have to do something. You have to make a decision in 30 days. This is season after season of just underachieving. Part of that due to an ownership group that can't sell the team, refuses to put money into that lineup. In fact, a couple seasons ago, after they finally break through in the playoffs, win a series for the first time in 2 decades, advance, the first thing they did the next season was drop payroll because the Pohlads have been so terrible with their own personal finances, their own personal commercial dealings. They keep borrowing money against their luxury business. Owning the Twins, owning a baseball team like that, is not supposed to be part of your everyday thing. It's just a fun thing for billionaires to have. It's a status thing. You put money into the team because it's fun. They treat it's like one of their commercial businesses. So they're borrowing money against the Twins franchise, which is why they're having a tough time trying to sell that thing, because someone would have to take on the debt for one. You're still getting a pretty good deal because of that 1.3 billion or whatever it is. That's I know that's a huge number, but that's a discount as far as baseball team goes, football teams, basketball teams. The Lakers just went up for sale for $10 billion. So, I mean, their price tag is, as far as billionaires and their money they want to spend, it's a discount rate compared to other teams that are out there. But you have to take on so much of the debt at the same time, and that's what's been scaring people off, including Ishiba, who was involved with the White Sox and then decided to become a majority owner of that whenever Reinsdorf retires or gives up his percentage shares of the White Sox. Now that Ishiba, who is trying to buy the Twins, is now just going to deal with the White Sox because the Pohlads kind of scared him off. And it's understandable with how the Pohlads have treated their luxury business. So that's our Twins. It's the Marlins for 3 days. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then they come home for a 9-game homestand before the All-Star game. So it's Marlins, and then Tampa Bay will come to Target Field on the 4th. They've got a 3 o'clock game, and then they'll play 1 o'clock through the weekend. So it's 6 winnable games, at least on paper, but we'll see what the Twins can do with that. That's my Twins rant. Yeah, there's a lot of stories through my Twins Daily, guys, just talking about if they're going to be sellers or not. We've got the WNBA to talk about today. Before we do that, we're going to thank a couple of more sponsors here. GP Auto, Grant Peterson friends are on the east side of Brookings here. They'll get you back on the road. It's engine repair, tire replacement, oil changes, everything you need for your car. GP Auto will take care of you. They're on the east side of Brookings out by Dectronics. GP Auto, thanks for being a sponsor of everything we do here at Salz Media and what we will be doing with Sioux Valley Athletics, starting with football and volleyball in the fall. So thank you, GP. Brookings Vision Center as well. I just got some info on those guys. Brookings Vision Center offers comprehensive eye services for the whole family. They are on 20th Street South, kind of near Main Avenue South, right here in Brookings, but they just gave me new glasses about a month and a half ago now, somewhere in there. New safety glasses for my job at Bell Brands as well. Fantastic customer service. Those people are fantastic out there. They had no problems being a part of the Brookings Cubs and these Salz Media broadcasts that we've been doing. That was not a tough sell. They were more than happy to be a part of it. Thank you, Brookings Vision Center. We'll keep you on board and hopefully turn you into something with the Sioux Valley guys when we start that in the fall. So more conversations coming on that. A couple of new guys that we want to thank for the Brookings Cubs. Hometown Tire and Service. Tim, downtown, Hometown Tire. Good dude, man. And he said he only sponsors baseball, so he had no problem being a Cubs sponsor as well. But Hometown and Tim, another great repair shop in town, man. So whatever you need. It's the same deal as GP Auto. They're competitors, I know, but I know them both, and they're both fantastic. Tim, right downtown in Brookings here at Hometown Tire and Service. And then also Brookings Engraving. This is Kurt and the Bartles and everybody else. Brookings Apparel, the Bobcat Apparel. That's what they wanted me to tote, so that's what I'll tote on this show. Your Brookings Bobcat Apparel leader, Brookings Engraving, right downtown, right next to Pizza King, right next to Skinner's, right in the downtown area right there, right across the street from Cubby's. How's that? So Brookings Engravings, thank you, Zach. Thank you, Kurt, and the rest of the gang there. A great business. They also do the trophies and the Brookings engravings of things. You know, if you need a clock for an anniversary or something with some engravings on it, they do that. But the Bobcat Apparel they're probably your one stop that you need to make for Bobcat Apparel. Brookings Engraving, downtown Brookings. Thank you guys for being sponsors of this stuff. Tonight, it is the WNBA Commissioner's Cup. Why is that a big deal? Because it's our Minnesota Lynx. And I say ours because I guess I'm claiming them as my own. If you're listening to this, you might be a Minnesota fan at the same time. You should be a Lynx fan if you are a Minnesota fan. They are by far the most successful franchise in Minnesota. Doesn't matter the men's side, women's side, professional franchises in Minnesota. They've got 4 rings, almost had a 5th, losing in the Game 5 against the New York Liberty last year, and kind of got hosed on that. And I think you all know the story if you're a Lynx follower, but should have had 5. But they do have 4 rings, 4 banners hanging in that Target Center. So the Minnesota Lynx brought all 5 of their starters back. Nafisha Collier, fantastic. She's a captain for their All-Star game. And they'll play the Indiana Fever tonight. Caitlin Clark and friends coming to town for the Commissioner's Cup. Now, the winners of this tonight, I think the winning team, each player gets $30,000 for the win. I think you get $10,000 for the loss. And when you think about the average salaries in the WNBA being in that $80,000, $90,000, maybe $100,000 range for your salary for the season, $30,000 if you win tonight is a big percentage of your salary. So they'll be going all out. The Minnesota Lynx get to host it this year. I think they had to go to New York and beat the Liberty last year to win the Cup. Now they're going to host it this year. But it's the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. And news about the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark is Caitlin has a groin injury that is going to keep her out of this game tonight. So sadly, we don't get the outstanding super duper Caitlin Clark and her Indiana Fever. It's her it's all the rest of her teammates out there. So Aaliyah Boston, Sophia Cunningham, the Enforcer, now Enforcer Barbie is what she was called after sticking up for Caitlin a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Enforcer Barbie. It's funny, but Sophia Cunningham, always fun to watch. Caitlin Clark, also the team captain on the east side. And then the west is Nafisha Collier for the Minnesota Lynx. Those are your 2 captains for the WNBA All-Star game. So that'll be, it doesn't say when that is. It just says Indy 2025. So it's in Indianapolis as well. So where the Fever play, where the Pacers play, that's where the WNBA All-Star will be. But it's the Commissioner's Cup tonight. So Commissioner's Cup is on Amazon Prime tonight. That's where you can find that. I think it's like a 7 o'clock start. I'd have to look. You can look yourselves, but live from the Target Center tonight. Nafisha Collier and friends will be trying to go for another cup and get a big paycheck. As far as the WNBA is concerned, when you think about a prize money that is a third of your annual salary on average for the league, it's a big paycheck. So look for Nafisha Fee, I guess, if we will, to have a big night tonight against the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark. When you think about the other team that plays in Target Center, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they have now re-signed Julius Randle, which is kind of what I thought they would do. Someone was going to get left out, and I'll get into that in a minute. But the other big one that they re-signed, Naz Reid, the fan favorite for sure. from being undrafted to the G League to earning his way onto a roster and becoming the huge contributor there is, and then maybe next year having to be a starter, which is possible for Nas. He gets a big paycheck for that, and he's a fan favorite. The fans love him. The Nas towels, you can see those all over the arena when they play. You can see them on the road when they go on the road. And then there's plenty of Twitter people that'll have the Nas towels wherever they are on vacations. They'll bring a Nas towel with them, the diehards. So those two get huge paychecks. The one that got left out was Nah. So Alexander Walker just went to Atlanta, so he's going to be a Hawk. Someone was going to get left out, and it was Nah that gets left out. He gets a nice deal with the Atlanta Hawks, so we'll see what he can do with that. Another favorite that was on the end of the bench, Luka Garza, just got a deal with the Boston Celtics. Celtics are reeling from their roster salary problems, cap problems, if you will. So the Celtics are kind of unloading things in the roster they had. Now they're filling it back in, and Luka Garza gets to be one of the lucky guys that goes to the Boston Celtics. Hopefully get some playing time there. That's a two-time NCAA Player of the Year with the Iowa Hawkeyes. He's probably the Iowa Hawkeye all-time leader, maybe the best player the Hawkeyes have ever had on the men's side. And being not NCAA Player of the Year, he was the Big Ten Player of the Year 2 times. Sorry, I was just remembering that in my head. And the 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year gets you to the last guy on the bench in the NBA. That's how good those NBA players are. So Luka Garza, hopefully he gets a better shot with Boston and is able to be a contributor out there. But that's kind of the Timberwolves news. Staying in Minneapolis, we now have a new name for the XL Center, where the Minnesota Wild play their hockey games. It is now going to be called Grand Casino Arena. So the XL Center, who had had the naming rights since 2000, their deal goes up. They look for a new deal, a new sponsor to put their name on the arena, and it's the Grand Casino. They wanted to do that. So I believe the deal is for 14 years. So it's now going to be called Grand Casino Arena, and whatever that was, a feather, just hit me right in the face. Probably still on my face. But Grand Casino Arena now, instead of the X or the XL Center that we've been accustomed to calling it, it's now going to be called the Grand Casino Arena. So some changes there in Minneapolis. That's how off seasons go, man. Julius Randle, he got a 3-year, $100 million deal. I think the Nas deal was a 5-year. He's going to average 20 to 25 million through his 5-year deal. So Nas Reed got a fantastic contract. It's just absolutely amazing. So the T-Wolves, man, trying to keep it together. And hopefully they get a point guard, because they need a point guard. They need a better, younger point guard. I mean, Conley can do the job, but Conley's going to be an old man now. So they need to, just shore up that position on their roster. So we'll see what they can do in free agency here and see what the old T-Wolves have up their sleeve. As I mentioned before, we are here at Edgebrook. Edgebrook opened back up officially. You can get onto carts and you can get to a lot of the course. They still have some areas that are flagged off and roped off, but the 8 inches of rain that showed up last week filled up the ponds, which is fantastic, but they are open again. So it'll dry over the next couple days. The group that was here when I got here, we're going to be golfing on Friday for the 4th of July. That'll be my afternoon. But it should be, 80-something tomorrow, 90-something on Thursday, and then I think we're looking at 80-something on Friday with some wind at the same time. So there'll be some drying out over the next couple days, which will be good. So we look forward to that. And for me, on a personal level, the 4th of July, this is the first 4th in, I think, 3 or 4 years where I haven't had to work it at Bell Brands or have to not do anything in the 4th because I had to work the next morning. So it's been a bit. I'm going to enjoy my 4th of July. You do the same. Happy 4th. I'm already wearing my T-shirts for it. So I'm going to golf all day and then see what the night brings, I guess. Other news before I let you go, WNBA announced an expansion plan They're going to go back to Cleveland starting in 2028. They're going to go back to Detroit in 2029, and then they're going to add Philadelphia to that in 2030. Cleveland used to have a team that was the Cleveland Rockers. I believe they moved out of there. I'd have to look at where they moved or just became not a franchise anymore. Detroit was the same way. That was the Shock or the Shockers when they had a franchise there. So those two cities getting a team again, and then Philadelphia in 2030. So that's their expansion plans just after adding Golden State this year, which is kind of cool. San Antonio team moves to Vegas a few years ago. It's a huge impact on the WNBA as well. That's kind of all the news that I had. As far as Sioux Valley goes, not a lot going on. They've got a lot of teams and a lot of players that are playing AAU basketball. If you follow Sanford basketball, Sanford Sports on Twitter, on Facebook, you can see a lot of those results. Kaylee Craddock, Talia Vincent, Liberty Trigstad, amongst others. Amari Ward as well. They're basically all on the AAU teams and all having a great summer as far as what the pictures go. They're all going to have great stories about that, so I can't wait to talk to those girls. Mitchell Guthmiller has accepted the offer to be an SDSU football player, so we're going to talk to him through that season as he's got a senior year coming. But another Sioux Valley Cossack. He's following the footsteps of Bowden Schiller just from 2 seasons ago, joining on to the Jackrabbits after graduation. So looking for Bowden Schiller to be a pretty good contributor with that linebacking crew this year. And Mitchell listed as a linebacker on the announcement that he did. So some excitement with the Sioux Valley Cossacks. And we get one more year with Mitchell Guthmiller and see what that football team that just went to the Dakota Dome last year. New coach now, but we'll see what they can do. And we'll be cheering for him the whole time. And I'll have it right here on Saul's Media at the same time. Friday nights with the football team, and then every game for the volleyball team. I can't wait. It's going to be absolutely crazy, but still like 6 weeks before we got to start ramping up what we do with the Cossacks. But just wanted to give you some Sioux Valley news. Follow the Sanford Sports, Sanford basketball stuff on Twitter, and then you can see what those AAU teams have been doing all summer. A lot of traveling, but a lot of winning at the same time. So cool stuff with those guys. The golf course in Volga also feeling the effects of 8 inches of rain in a week. They did open back up today. So you probably have to watch where you're driving a golf cart, but I believe they have carts open as well. There's probably areas that are roped off. A lot of water going through these 2 golf courses, so just be aware of that if you're out golfing. Just a lot of water. Another interest that I have is I'm a huge bird nerd. So I've got a couple of spots that I go to that's in between Brookings and Volga. And I take a gravel road out there. Well, there's part of that gravel road that is underwater because of a swampy area that has come up over the road, so I can't even drive through parts of it. But then you can also get to right along the Big Sioux River, a couple miles out in between Brookings and Volga. It's the airport road, so you just take that one, but you can't even get on the first mile of it because of that first corner being underwater. And I was hanging nuts to the Big Sioux River today, knowing that it is growing, and I could actually see on the ground in front of me, because I'll basically park on like it's a driveway, an entryway into that grassland, pasture land, whatever it is. And I'll park right there and, kind of keep my car out of the way so other people can drive past me. But, the river is right there, basically like 20 feet from the road, and you could see that water seeping closer and closer to the gravel road as I was standing there. That was over the lunch hour when I was out there. Just absolutely crazy. The amount of water that's going through the Big Sioux River right now. Lake Campbell, the dam that they have on that is basically level right now with the amount of water going through Lake Campbell. The spillway, if you want to call it that, just crazy. 8 inches of rain in a week. So, the golf courses are feeling it. And, I guess the farmers are going to love it because it wasn't a violent rain around here, and a lot of it just soaked right in, so that'll be cool. Crop should be good. What else do I have here? Don Staley, coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks, is in for she's up for the Knicks head coaching position. That'd be absolutely crazy. But the Knicks have reached out to Don Staley about taking over the head job for the Knicks. That'd be really cool if that actually happened. Buxton with his 30 for 30 that he can do. Yeah, I can finish. There's some Legion talk. Legion Baseball's had a tough week as well. I can finish up with this before I let you go. The Brookings Cubs, who haven't played the game in a while now because of rain, because of personnel problems, either on their own or the other team not being able to go. That's the case tonight. They were supposed to go to Milroy tonight, which is on the other side of Marshall. And it was a player personnel thing from the Milroy side that got that game canceled. There was a game that we were supposed to do at Bob Sheldon Field on Sunday night, but with the water and the sogginess of the outfield, it was actually the city that said no. The city parks department was like, no, it's too soggy out there. We can't do this. So we had to postpone that. That is now July 14th on that rescheduling of that. They do have a game scheduled for Brandon, at Brandon on Thursday night. That's a 7:30 start, but since it's July 3rd, that game might also get moved because of the holiday the next day, so we'll see what happens with that. So the Cubs haven't played in a while, but they're still fantastic. 10-4 on their season. Is that right? Let me open this up. 9-3 on their season, 3-1 in the Sioux Empire League. So it's still a fantastic Cubs team, I guess I should say. They're still in line to try to go deep into the playoffs. If they're going to be one of the top teams in the league, that'll help with that. Maybe I think there's home games like the first regional weekend. State would then, the first weekend would be in Aberdeen, and then the second weekend would be in Brandon if they can advance through those things. But that's what they're looking at in August. Once those games are done, we go right into Sioux Valley Athletics, and it's going to be absolutely nuts. Still not sure how I'm going to work out my Bell Brand schedule for that, but as far as the Cubs want to go, I'll be with them. But tough week for the Cubs as Sunday gets postponed. There was another game last week that got postponed, and now the game tonight that was supposed to be in Milroy canceled. I don't know if we're going to make that one up or not. And I'd say that Thursday is in danger because it is July 3rd, the holiday the next day. Could be just a player personnel thing again. It's a holiday that happens on a Friday. There's a lot of people that have the 3rd and the 4th off. And if you even didn't have that, you take the 3rd off and take the family camping or something, get out of town for a weekend. So we'll see if the game in Brandon on Thursday happens. If it does, it'd be fantastic. That's all I got for you today. That's all I could think of off the top of my head. And I'm sorry it was, like 3 weeks since I've done this, but just took some time off after getting back from Aberdeen with the Sioux Valley softball team. Just resting and trying to sell it, trying to stay current with the Cubs, and just a work schedule that gets in the way sometimes. That happens. So that's going to do it. This is Edgebrook, right here in Brookings. From underneath the gazebo, it's their league night tonight, so that's probably why I'm cutting this short as well. A lot of league guys are going to start showing up here pretty quick. My friends are out there on the back somewhere. Not sure if I can see them. They could be on 16 there, maybe. Probably not, but I'll plan for my big golf day on the 4th of July. So I'm going to wish you guys a happy 4th of July as well. Enjoy it. It's been a while since it's been a Friday, the rotation of things. So enjoy it. It's been a while since I've had the 4th off without having to worry about what's going on the next day. So I'm going to take advantage of that. It's going to be golf all day and then just see what the night brings. Fireworks somewhere, I would imagine. But we'll see what happens with it. So that's a Salzy Show. That's episode 7 right there. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for following along. Other sponsors, thank you. You can see that scrolling in the corner up there. We'll get through a lot more of those sponsors as we start rolling along. We can thank the Man Cave Barbershop for sure. Who's the other ones that I could go right now? The Man Cave Barbershop there on South Madera, right across from Bob Sheldon Field. Nick's Hamburgers, Back Alley Meats, Scoops and Loops, another fantastic one. That's the ice cream pretzel store that's right downtown in Brookings. Race Corner, another sponsor. These are all the Cubs guys that I have. But we'll get into a lot of the Sioux Valley things as we keep doing those. I won't take 3 weeks off now. Maybe by the end of the weekend we'll do another one and just see where the Twins are at, see what they're doing, and then see how the Commissioner's Cup turns out tonight, WNBA, Minnesota Lynx. And if the T-Wolves want to make a move, free agent move for point guard, that'd be good. They should do that. I'd look for them to do that, but that'd be great. That's going to do it for today. Jason Salzman, Episode 7, The Salzy Show, signing off. Have a good 4th, everybody.